Moreover, the information sought by the subpoenas is wildly disproportionate to the needs of the case and unnecessarily invades the privacy of untold numbers of third parties, including family, friends, business partners, and quite literally any other person with whom any of the targets have communicated with over a period of time.
6 in this lawsuit says the dangerous climate of threats, harassment, and intimidation fueled by the defendant's retaliation campaign has required Ms. Lively to alter her personal and professional life.
The Justin versus Blake fiasco is still dominating the internet, with everyone eagerly watching each side's next move in this PR war. But the real question is, how is Team Blake holding up as more damning evidence continues to surface? It seems Blake has a few strategies in play, one of which involves a fellow actress filing a lawsuit that many are calling absolutely ridiculous. It's a move that looks more like damage control than anything else. Public sentiment has shifted dramatically. Initially, fans were quick to defend Blake, seeing her as the victim. But as more details came to light, it became clear that she might not be as innocent as she seemed. Justin's receipts have systematically broken down the support for Blake, and more people are now rallying behind him. Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly delivered her take on the situation in her signature straightforward manner. No filters, just facts. The real question now is, how far is Blake willing to take this? With new twists unfolding daily, this saga is far from over.
Brian Friedman knows how to fight back against a bully. Trust me. And he started telling everybody Justin Baldoni's side. He told us that Justin Baldoni denied those claims of sexual harassment and only tried to appease Blake Lively because she was such a high-maintenance diva bully brat. He had to bend over backwards just to get her to shut up and complete the film. He told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it. I want all the roles for me and only me. I want full control because I am a controlling bully.
Megyn Kelly didn't hold back, stating that Blake has a god complex, which became evident when she referred to herself as KH from Game of Thrones. She highlighted Justin's claims, pointing out that while Blake might insist she was simply expressing appreciation for the support of those around her, the message came across as a thinly veiled threat, one that no one is buying.
What they showed is that Blake Lively has got a bit of a god complex. She's texting Justin Baldoni about how she sees herself as Khaleesi from Game of Thrones, Mother of Dragons. Ooh, did you watch that? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So Khaleesi is stunningly beautiful. She's this effervescent, strong character with temerity and resilience, and she's fierce. She's literally the mother of dragons in Game of Thrones. That's her. That's me. And she says, and I've got the greatest dragons on earth, Ryan Reynolds, and my best friend is Taylor Swift, though she's not named or they blacked it out. So she's telling him, I'm mother of dragons, and my dragons will cut a bitch. And my dragons are named Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. So the message is pretty clear.
A behavioral analyst weighed in on Blake's claim that Justin acted inappropriately during a scene that wasn't being audio recorded. However, Justin later released the footage, explaining that the entire purpose of the scene was to create the illusion of an intimate moment between the characters in the movie.
As soon as camera was called out, she's talking to him as Blake, trying to give a directive. She started that, and he just followed her lead and explained, no, it's okay with the light behind me, it looks good, and so on and so on. Another really interesting thing about that moment is as he explains to her that it's nice for him to be in front of the light, and when he blocks it, he leans in and he gets really close to her ear, and he almost like whispers it to her very softly. And we might look at that and go, why did he say it like that? Why didn't he just tell her? And there's a very good reason for this. They're both very aware of the fact that we're only going to use the visuals. It's not what they're saying. So to get this shot, their body language is to communicate. Ryle and Lily having this slow dance, but it's okay to be talking about other stuff as long as they can get the visuals.
Justin wasn't acting inappropriately. He was simply doing his job. While the audio from the scene was casual, the visuals were intentionally crafted to be used in the movie, aligning with the intended portrayal.
This is very common in Hollywood productions. I can't tell you how often I've filmed projects either as a consultant or in front of the camera, and when we were filming something that we knew only the visuals matter, we need to communicate something visually, we're talking about completely unrelated stuff, as long as we know the visuals get across. So in this case, he's following her lead. She's she started talking about, their dancing. She started talking about where they should stand, and he just responded while still giving the camera the visuals that they need for this Lily and Ryle story.
Though the analyst remained impartial and acknowledged that Blake didn't seem entirely comfortable, suggesting she may have had a point. Others have emphasized that this is exactly why having an intimacy coordinator is crucial, something Blake herself reportedly refused.
Here it's a little tense. We're also seeing on her face this little bit of a faint smile, but there is tightness around the nose and around the mouth, and it doesn't look like a super relaxed smile. And finally, we do see that she is a little leaned back, and at first, he's a little more leaned towards her. But the moment he notices this kind of bit of a disengagement, notice what he does. He also disengages. So what we're seeing here is a dance, pun intended, where she's saying something, he's leaning in to whisper in her ear, she's backing up, he's backing up in response.
Things took a turn, for the worse when Ryan Reynolds made an unscripted joke about the lawsuit on SNL, leaving many confused. After all, if his wife had truly been harassed, why would he make light of the situation?
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively been in the news a lot, and Ryan Reynolds, we want to know, was that an improv or was it scripted, his little piece he did?
That was actually, he had a different line in rehearsal and he pitched that to replace it. So that was his idea to do it.
It was Ryan's idea. I just don't know. I feel like we deserve something. We deserve an award for just sniffing that out. Like, he is a true, thoroughbred narcissist.
Team Blake also filed a subpoena requesting access to Justin Baldoni's phone messages, hoping to find evidence to support their claims.
Earlier this week, the Lively parties issued subpoenas to cellular providers, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, seeking, quote, all documents concerning ingoing and ongoing calls or text messages related to phone number that was blocked out, belonging to each of the individual Wayfarer parties, some of their employees, and various non-party individuals, including but not limited to call logs, text logs, data logs, and cell site location information. The subpoenas seek such information over a period of multiple years, in most cases spanning from December 1st, 2022 to the present. It is hard to overstate how broad, invasive, and atypical these subpoenas truly are. This is civil litigation, not a criminal prosecution, and the Lively parties are not the FBI. Yet the subpoenas seek not only the complete call and text history of each of the targets over a period of several years, no matter the sender, recipient, or subject matter, but also over the same period, real-time location information and data logs reflecting, among other things, web browsing history. This would include, of course, materials protected from disclosure by a laundry list of statutes and privileges.
With Blake's team filing an amended complaint, many expected groundbreaking evidence. But that wasn't the case. Instead, they appeared to take comments out of context in an attempt to paint Justin as having a pattern of being untrustworthy with the women in his life.
In public, Mr. Baldoni gave the appearance of taking responsibility for the fact that he had, quote, unconsciously been hurting and silencing women in his life, and implored men to be man enough to, quote, shut the hell up and listen to women. He claimed that he wanted to end toxic masculinity, acknowledging his own toxic behavior by admitting that, quote, there is a woman or two that I in some way made uncomfortable by saying something or doing something that was chauvinistic or sexist. There is 1,000,000% probability that that exists.
Candace Owens highlighted how the legal document included unrelated dialogue that had little to no connection to the actual subject matter.
I've had to take a real honest look at the ways that I've unconsciously been hurting the women in my life. And it's ugly. My wife told me that I had been acting in a certain way that hurt her and not correctly. Basically, sometimes when she would go to speak, at home or in public, I would just cut her off mid-sentence and finish her thought for her. It's awful. The worst part was that I was completely unaware when I was doing it. It was unconscious. So here I am doing my part, trying to be a feminist, amplifying the voices of women around the world, and yet at home, I am using my louder voice to silence the woman I love the most. So I had to ask myself a tough question. Am I man enough to just shut the hell up and listen?
FCC also talked about how the complaint had added Justin talking about holding men accountable as though he was admitting to his own mistakes, even though the clip was from an interview where he was asked about his character in the It Ends With Us movie.
What do you want men to take away from this film?
I want men, first of all, I want men to stop asking the question, why do women stay?
Yeah.
Right? I want men to take accountability. I want men to hold other men accountable. And in this particular film, I want men to go to the theater and in some way see a version of themselves. You have two very different characters. Both of them, in Atlas and Ryle, have had past trauma. One handles it very different than the other. And my other hope is that the men who have not done the work, who have not done the work to heal, if they see bits of themselves in Ryle, have a chance to step back and say, you know what, I don't want to blow up my life. I don't want to hurt the person I love the most. I need to get help. I need to feel all these things that I've buried so deep down so that it doesn't explode on somebody that I love. And hopefully that can create some compassion and empathy and make the world a safer place.
Candace Owens has also called out the new document's manipulative language. 6 in this lawsuit says the dangerous climate of threats, harassment, and intimidation fueled by the defendant's retaliation campaign has required Ms. Lively to alter her personal and professional life and to take steps to protect innocent bystanders rather than exposing them to further harm. So she's now using this to explain away why no one's joining in on her lawsuit, okay? They're setting that up right at the beginning. They're essentially, no one's gonna join in, but just so you know, this is to protect them. I'm gonna explain to you why that's absolutely BS. It goes on and reads, thus, this amended complaint does not refer to certain witnesses by name, nor does it provide screenshots of their text messages. Importantly, however, these witnesses have given Ms. Lively permission to share the substance of their communications in this amended complaint as contained herein, and they will testify and produce responsive documents in the discovery process. Okay, let's just pause to make sure everybody understands what's happening here because they think we are so stupid, okay? I'm not going to include them in here because I'm going to protect them. But down the line, I'm going to subpoena them and force them against their will, which means that they are not willing participants and that you don't have their support, because the reality is you can compel them to testify. Okay?